Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Google++, as they call it. Today, wait a minute, I totally forgot. My kids' birthdays are coming up, and my wife told me to buy something. I wish I remember what there was something I was supposed to buy for them. And I was supposed to call a client. I wonder if I can even do this thing today. I was supposed to call a client in Idaho, and I wonder where the phone number, I don't know where the phone number is. I wrote it down somewhere. I need to find my notes. Anyway, let's just get going with what we're going to do and worry about all this stuff later. All jokes aside, let me bring up the my screen share here and show you that I actually don't really forget that much stuff because I have plenty of digital tools to help me, and the previous worries about remembering who to call, when to call, all of that stuff, I completely trust Google to be my secretary in that department. But for many companies and individuals as well, it's the challenge, and I see it with my clients all over the place all the time, where they try to keep notes, and they have little notebooks, and they have little yellow pads and pink pads and blue pads, and they have notes written, pasted on their monitors, and they have notes written, saved in their drawers. I mean, it's ridiculous. You come to some desks, and it's completely covered in the yellow post-it notes all around the monitor. And of course, it's ridiculous in my view, and there is no reason to have it this way, considering the kind of tools and technology we have today. Today, I want to specifically talk about Google's Keep. This is a program, an app they released a while back. They made some improvements to it, but they kind of kept it under the radar for the most part. Certainly didn't go out with as big fanfare as Google Drive did or other Google apps that they have. But Keep is something that they initially looked at, it's just another mini version of Evernote. That's what was my initial thinking. You can create notes, you can make them a little different colors, and you can easily find and search for them and things like that. But at the same time, with that being the case, it's, I already have Evernote, I use Evernote, why would I want to use Google Keep? But lately, looking at some of the, of course I have a premium Evernote, and, for some people that may not be an option. So I started looking at Keep a little bit more closely, and when I kind of peeked under the hood a little bit, I discovered that it's a lot more than seems to be on the surface. And so with that, let's talk a little bit about that. So what exactly is Google Keep? Google Keep is a note-taking application, allows you to have little notes that you can put as much or as little text as you wish. You can also add a photo to each note, only one. It's not like on Google+, you can do multiple photos per post, and this one you can only do one per one of these notes. You can also, using the mobile version, like the phone version of Google Keep, you can also add a sound of some sort, whether it's voice recording or sound recording, and whatever you want it to be. And at the same time, you can also, the latest thing they introduced was reminders. So you can actually create a note and easily add a reminder based on either time or location. Just as they have reminders in Google Now, they have them on Google Keep. And so it really gives you a really handy way to create notes, including audio, including text. You can also have text be either free-form text, that you can convert it to a list with checkboxes. So you can have it like a little task list that has checkboxes that when you click on it, it just moves it down to the bottom of the list, depending on how you set the options. But the bottom line is it's a really convenient and simple way to create notes. And using any of this media that I'm showing on the screen here, with photo, possible sound, you can have a reminder attached if you want. All those are optional, but you can have them, and you can have as many of them as you want. Everything is stored in the cloud, as everything else with Google. And the beautiful thing about it is you're able to access it not only from variety of devices, but also from variety of locations. I mean, anywhere you go, you log into your Google account, there it is. So you go to www.keep.google.com, and it'll get you to your Keep once you're signed in to your Google account. So every Google account has its own Keep. Okay, that's basically the basic definition of what Google Keep is. And as I mentioned earlier, everywhere you go, people just everything is paper. Notes have to be done on paper. Yellow pads. I mean, those little sticky pads sell better than ever before, I think. And we continuously keep killing our trees and doing everything on paper. I'm not a tree hugger. I've said it before. I'll say it again. But I do like trees, and there's no reason in our digital world these days to use as much paper as we use. It's wasteful. It's not productive. It's inaccurate. It's heavy. If you have enough paper, and everything else, it takes a lot of room. You don't need any of this stuff. You can do everything digitally these days, and Google Keep is certainly an excellent tool for moving in that direction. So let's get rid of paper, and let's see what we can do in terms of notes with Google Keep. So where can you run Google Keep? You can run Google Keep on any of these devices, platforms, whatever you want to call it. You can do them on your phone. You can do it on your tablet. You can do it on your PC, Mac, or Windows. You can do it on your desktops, your laptops. You can do it on your Chromebooks, your Chromeboxes. Basically, this app is available on just about any device you might have. You'll be able to run Google Keep, which is really slick. Because in addition to being able to run it, at the same time, you're able to take the information and access it from any other device, because everything is automatically synchronized and totally seamless to you. You don't have to lift a finger, and you put a note on your phone, you come home, jump on your desktop, and there's the note. And you look at your tablet, and there's the note. I mean, it looks similar. There's a little bit of a difference, and we'll talk about that, between different versions of, different devices that run Google Keep. But basically, it's the same, pretty much the same app. It certainly has information that you put in, accessible, searchable, and everything else from any of these things. So it's very, very convenient to use, and no matter what device you pick up, you're able to get the latest information. Whatever you put in, you got it. So that's very handy. In terms of organizing things, the way they have it set up is they really don't have anything. They try to keep it simple, so you don't have anything where you can have categories or tags like you can do in Evernote, for example. This is much simpler. You just have a note. You type in as much or a little information as you want. You can add a picture by taking it or using an existing picture. And if you're doing it on the phone or a tablet, you can also record a sound, and you can put in a reminder. That's basically it. That's the extent of Google Keep. There's no categories, there's no tags, there's nothing else. The only thing that they do provide that allows you to organize things a little bit in a certain manner is colors. So the background of each note can have a different color if you want. If you want them to be the same, you can, but they provide basically 8 different colors. So there's typically, when you create a note on Google Keep, you have a heading, which is always shown in bold. So use it however you wish to use it, but obviously put something that would be meaningful to you in terms of search, in terms of just looking at the note. Also, you have as much freeform text or a list of items with checkboxes as you wish. And then, like I said, you can color the background using any of the 8 colors that they give you. And you can colorize things so you can easily jump to, for example, to give you specific examples, you can have something like, I don't know, maybe you have things that are pending to be done. So you want to color them maybe in something like red as the background. And then as they get done, you color them, change the background to white or to green, or however you want to do it to indicate that it's done. Maybe you have things happening with the family, with the kids, and you make those yellow. You have something happening with office, you make those blue. Things like that. I mean, so you can, organize based on people, based on subjects, categories, whatever. You obviously need to know what the colors mean, and that's why, on one hand, you could say that 8 colors is just not enough, but at the same time, if you have just nothing but colors, it'd be really difficult for you to keep track of exactly which color represents what. You'll have just this really colorful looking thing and not really easily tell what's what. One of the missing features, I think, in Google Keep, which I'm hoping they will add, is the ability to filter based on colors. So you can say, show me everything red, or show me all the nodes that are blue. That would be a very, very useful thing, and I'm sure it'll be easy for them to implement the filter like that. Perhaps as part of the search, you can indicate color this. But in the meantime, 8 colors is not that many colors, and at the same time, not that few. So you can actually create quite a few categories of your own. And if you want to keep track of them easily, just create a note and indicate which color means what. And that way you have a little legend that tells you, in case you forget or somebody else needs to use it, what different colors represent. So it's handy. You can use it to organize things. And as I mentioned, you can use headings properly as well. And you can also use other apps. And how to use other apps, we'll get to it a little bit later. I don't want to jump ahead of myself, so just there's another way to organize Google Keep notes. Okay, so let's move on here to this example here. So one of the problems with Google Keep is that the desktop version of it does not allow you to share your notes. And so it's a major omission right now on one hand, but there's ways to get around there. And we'll cover that shortly here. But on this particular slide here, what I want to show you is an example of what I did. I took a gentleman who's going to come to fix some stuff in our bathroom, and he just gave me his card, and you can see on the right side there, that's what the card looks like. I mean, I just simply snapped a picture using Google Keep, using their photo capability, to just take a picture of that particular card, business card. As you can see, it was taken with lights blaring at the top. It's got a bunch of shadows in the middle. I mean, this is definitely not a nice, clean, quality picture that I took of this card. I mean, it's certainly readable if you really look in there, but it's a little bit hard to read, especially the bottom part. And I just quickly shot the picture, and that's it, just for the sake of the example here. And so I took a photo. On the Keep itself, I added some text to it on my own. And what I want to show you is how cool it is, how you can search Keep for text. And so for that, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Google Keep itself, if I can find it here, right there. All right. So hopefully everybody can see that right now. And on this particular example here, as you can see, I have this card in the slide here, in this particular note, I mean. Okay, and it shows that I put some of my own text here. It says vendor, tile, repair, grout. I mean, this is the text I put in as the heading, and then put in some information about what this gentleman will do or did. Okay, and if I click on the photo itself, and you can see that it shows me that this is what the actual photo looks like. You can see it's not left to right, but it's up and down. So it's, the way I shot it, that's the way it looks. And as like I said, you can see that the quality is not there. And then, of course, you can't even see the whole thing here in the actual note, but that's good enough. And it shows me when I edited it and so on. Like I said, if I want to change the colors, I can just click here, change whatever I want. I can set up a reminder for it, change the picture, and archive it in case I don't want to see it in front of my face, but still be able to access it later, similar to archiving Gmail. So if we wanted to do a search here, okay, if I wanted to look, here's all my different notes. As you can see, I'm scrolling through them. If I wanted to do a search, I could just search for the word, let's say we got right there the word shower, right? If I type in the word shower, you can see it highlights it and it shows me that's the only note I have with the word shower. And you can see, even though I have dozens of notes in there, it's pretty quick. So if I'm looking for the word grout, for example, it would also come up with the only one, okay, which is pretty cool. And of course, I could use the word vendor if I had multiple cards, all of them starting with the word vendor dash and the name of the vendor. That would be a way to have all my cards for vendors put together, or come together, I should say, and I can use them to search for whatever vendor I'm looking for. So it's very handy to be able to do this kind of stuff. Where it becomes magical here, and I was talking about doing some magic, is if I type in a search for something like Louis. Notice what just happened. it still pulls up the exact same card. Now, if you can look at this particular piece of text that I put in there, you can see the word Louis doesn't exist there. Okay? But if we look at the card itself, let's pull the card up, and if you carefully look and see, there's the gentleman's name. It's Louis. And Bothell, and his email, and his phone number, and all that kind of stuff. And so the amazing thing about this particular app, and by the way, you can do the similar thing in Google Drive too, it's not only in Keep, is that you can actually be searching for text information within the graphics attached to this particular note, which is extremely handy. For example, if I type in, if you want to see something else, I can put in grout fix, and that's the only card that comes up because that's the thing that's in graphics on there. It says grout fix, that's the name of the business. Okay? If I put in fewer letters, as you can see, it comes up with more choices. If I put in, for example, access, you know, it comes up with all the cards that have the word access in them and things. So it's definitely coming up very quickly with everything I need. But the beauty here is I can search for text, both in text on that note or on any note, and within the graphics as well. Okay, and that makes it extremely, extremely handy to be able to do things and be able to find things based on this photo capability of Google Keep. Okay, let me move this thing aside here. 1 second. Get it out of the way. And let's just continue with what we're talking about. So that's one great thing is you can search. The second thing that a lot of people don't know about is a choice, or an option I should say, that's available within Google Keep. Let me bring the display back up again. If you pull down the menu as an option on a card, and the menu is usually this little vertical dotted bar, and that's the same thing on mobile devices too. They just made it so it's all the same. You have a bunch of options, one of which is called grab image text. And it doesn't look like much. I mean, you got delete, you got make a copy, grab image text. It looks like just another option. But this thing is the magic part. Okay? If I click and grab the image text, look what it just did. It actually grabbed all the text it could read, including his phone number, and the business name, and the website, and the location, and his email. Everything is here right now as text itself, as part of this particular note. As simple as that. And I can't emphasize this enough how useful this is, because now not only did it put the text in here, but notice now that it actually linked his website. It's actually a link. If I click on it, it'll take me right to his website. How cool is this? It is very cool, actually. And then in addition to that, you can see that his email address here, it doesn't say email or anything, but the thing is smart enough to figure out that this kind of information is an email address. If I click on it, it'll take me right to my Gmail, if it works right. And as you can see in my Gmail, it will create a new message. Notice no hands. I'm not doing anything with my hands here, just mouse isn't moving. And there it is. There is his email in the to field, and it's sitting in the subject, and a brand new email for me. So the concept here is that it's not only putting information into the card itself or into the note, it's actually smart enough to highlight the links for websites as well as email addresses. And of course, it put the name of the business and phone, everything. Everything was on this card has been entered as text. Okay? And so the question you might ask is, okay, if we can do a search and all this information is found anyway, who cares about dropping text in there? I'm glad you asked this question, because the answer is coming up in this next slide I'm going to show you. All right, so again, we use the menu selection for grab image text, and that's how you get the text to go from the graphical version of it as the text into the card itself to become part of the text. Okay? So moving on to the next slide here, it says, can you share a Google Keep post from a desktop using the browser? And the answer, the regular answer, if I go here to, here's the browser, here's the cards and stuff, I don't have an option to share. As you can see, there's nothing here about sharing. There's nothing on the pull down about sharing. I can't. I mean, there's no way. They don't give you an option. The share at the top here is just a Google Plus share. So there really isn't a share option so I can share it with some other people, which obviously could be a problem because we're so used to Google being able to use Google Tools to share with anybody. Well, it turns out that the answer is no, but at the same time, the answer could be yes as well. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can share Google Keep. So share is not an option for a desktop browser, but share is an option for mobile devices. Okay? If I go ahead and for a second, I think I'm going to stop the screen share here so I can show you, jump back here. After my vacation, my lips are almost back to normal, so I can show my face again. So I'm going to pull up my phone here and pull up Keep. And as you can see right here, get the focus a little bit, it looks very similar to the desktop version, right? I mean, you got the notes, you got all that stuff in there. But the cool thing about that is, in addition to being able to click on the deal, edit it, do whatever I want to do with it. Also, when I pull the option down, the menu option down, see if I can get it in focus here. I think I need to turn the spotlight off. That's why. Let's just do the original. And so if I can show you this screen here, as you can see plainly, the third option there is called Share. So from mobile devices, you do have share capability, okay? And so that's exactly what you would use to be able to share your notes. Yes, you cannot, no, you can't do it from the browser, from your computer, but you can certainly do it from a mobile application, from your phone. And if I bring up my tablet here, my shiny new Samsung Tab 4, let me just quickly do this. And so you can see there's the same Keep running, with all the notes and everything else right there. If I click on the note, and then if I go ahead and click on the menu, you can see that I also have an option there called, you can kind of see it, the second option there is called Share, and it's hard to read on the screen, but anyway, it is there. And of course, then I can share it with, if I select Share, then I get a choice of all these different apps. And of course, my favorite and typical one would be Google+, but you can see I can share it through Gmail there, I can share it through Evernote, I can share it to a bunch of different applications basically. And so let's say, as an example, let's say we did select Gmail, right, and shared using Gmail. As you can see right there, it creates a new email, it puts my headline in there, it puts all my text in there, and because they grabbed the information from the image into the actual post, it also, not post, but into the actual note, it winds up putting that in the email as well. So the email has all this information in there, and I can go ahead and send this email to whomever I need to send it to. So very, very handy way to share information using this approach. Okay? So let me jump back into the presentation now. And we'll proceed forward from there. Okay, so lots of different options, and that's what I meant when earlier when I talked about sharing it using different apps. That's what I meant. For mobile devices, you can share Google Keep posts or notes and distribute information and organize it in many, many more ways than just what we talked about earlier, because then you have all kinds of capabilities in those other programs, like Evernote, like I said, has tags, so you can tag things appropriately afterwards and things like that. Okay? So sharing is definitely an option. To talk about a little bit more about organization and what I call mobile magic, what else you can do with mobile is you can share it to a circle on Google+, for example. Let's talk about Google+. You can share it, you can set up your own circle, and the circle could be public, it could be private. And private could be nobody but yourself, if you want. And you call it a certain name, like, for example, business cards. You have a circle called business cards. You're not sharing it with anybody but yourself, so it's just a private circle. Okay? And then you just keep adding, like I did. You shoot a picture of a card from the Keep app itself, from your phone, for example, and you just share it with that particular circle. And so you wind up in the end with a Google Plus circle that you can easily click on and see the stream of nothing but those cards of all the business cards that you collect from people. Okay, so that's a quick and easy way to be able to categorize things by, in this case, all your business cards are together. You can have other notes dealing with something else circled in some other circle. So you understand the concept. You basically put whatever, however you want to relate things, all of them into it, and you share it with a certain circle in Google+, and then you can access the information that way, and that's how you can organize things. So on the Keep itself does not let you create categories, but this way you can have as many different circles with whatever meaning you want to have, and now you just organize it by categories using this approach. Another approach you can use, speaking of categories, is you can use communities. You can set up, for example, community for, like a private community for your own business, and one of the categories, since communities allow you to have categories, could be business cards. Another category could be something else. And you can have as many of these categories as you want, and you just create these shares and you post it to a particular community, particular category, and now you have even more subdivision because you can have multiple communities, and each community can have multiple categories, and each category will have multiple nodes coming directly from Google Keep like this. Okay, and that's the easiest way to grab something anywhere and be able to populate the content that way. Very convenient, very useful. By the way, if any of these things I'm mentioning, if you have any, if you're not sure exactly what I'm talking about, or you're a little confused, don't hesitate to ask me on Google+. I'll be happy to clarify. But it is a very, very potent way to organize information by using combination of Google Keep and Google+. Okay, and then of course you can use Google+'s capability of searching and being able to share it with other people, and being able to, everything you normally can do with Google+, then that information becomes moldable or augmentable or shareable as any information Google+ could be. So once you get it from Google Keep to Google+, then you can do whatever you normally do. So basically, the world is the possibilities, world of possibilities, I should say. So very, very convenient and easy way to subdivide information, to get it initially grabbed from your phone or tablet, and then populate it this way, and then use it, categorize it, share it. Very handy. Okay? Moving on here, I think this is all I wanted to show you. So if you have any questions, as I mentioned, feel free to contact me here, either on my PCS page on Google+, or my private profile, not private, my personal profile, and I'll be happy to assist. I hope this has been helpful. I think Google Keep is a tremendous tool for a really easy way to keep track of notes. I'd certainly encourage everybody to get rid of their post-it notes, donate it to some charity or something, get rid of them. And use something like this instead. You can really use it on a very minimal, simple level. It's very easy to use. And I think once you start doing searches, once you start populating information into Google Keep, it'll be amazing to you just how much stuff you can get in and how easy you can get at it from anywhere, virtually. Anybody's computer with your login, then you got all the information you need. So with Google going secure now and having information sent using encryption, it makes it pretty secure to save information that's potentially you don't want to get into the wrong hands. And because you don't have inherently built-in sharing, if you don't share it, then nobody will even be able to get to it unless they hack into your Google account. It's a pretty convenient way to really keep track of all kinds of stuff. It also, the reminders add a whole level, another level of convenience and usefulness by being able to simply go, like for example, you're going, let's say, for a salesperson is on the street, they take a picture of some business, they can add a voice recording for themselves what to do with this later, potentially add some text, and they're done. And that information is automatically available to them afterwards. How convenient that for some kind of CRM type situation, keeping track of customer relationships and things like that. Because then you can, like I said, take it further by sharing it through Google+ and doing whatever we want to do with that. Very, very convenient. On the fly, everything you need, very convenient. You can use it for, and of course, the reminder part allows you to set up a reminder saying that you need to contact this gentleman that you just spoke with next Tuesday. So you set up a reminder for next Tuesday right then and there after you took a picture and added some information, and you forget it. Next Tuesday, you're going to be reminded that you need to, contact this person again. So very, very convenient, very handy to be able to use reminders to go with this. And it just completely elevates note-taking to a whole new level, in my view. So again, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.